The Exhortations of Chan Master Da Yuan of Wei Mountain, translated by Bhikshu Yuan, Tomas Fletcher, James Roberts and others, and read by Angus Cargill. We cannot avoid being burdened by our physical bodies, which are bound by karma. Our bodies come from our parents and are formed by many conditions. Although supported by the four primary elements, they are often in disharmony. Impermanence, old age, and illness do not wait for us. We may be alive at dawn and dead by dusk. In an instant, we move us on to another world, like spring frost, like morning dew, vanishing in the blink of an eye. We are like trees growing on a riverbank or vines growing in a well. How could they endure for long? Each of our thoughts is fleeting. Within an instant, in a single breath, it is already the next life. How can we quietly let our lives slip by in vain? We can no longer take care of our parents, and we have parted ways with our immediate family. We can no longer participate in public affairs. With a single stroke, we have renounced the family trade and inheritance. Leaving behind our hometown and friends, we have shaved our heads and now follow a teacher. Inwardly, we gain the merit of diligently subduing our thoughts. Outwardly, we spread the virtue of non-violence. We completely relinquish the mundane world, aspiring to transcend it. How can we claim to be monks when we have only just ascended the precept platform? The donors provide us with what we need. The monastery provides us with what we eat and use. Without knowing or considering where they have come from, we say, "That's just the way it's supposed to be." After eating, we gather in groups and noisily chatter about various mundane things. As we indulge in this moment of enjoyment, we forget that pleasure is the cause of suffering. For many eons past, we have given into the dust of sense objects, without ever reflecting on ourselves. Days keep slipping by, as months and years are wasted. We frequently enjoy abundant offerings, and as the years go by, we never plan to give this up, accumulating more and more to preserve this illusory body. In his exhortative instructions, the Buddha, our guiding master, decreed that monks should advance on the path with disciplined composure, even when food and shelter are lacking. We have become addicted to them, and we are constantly indulging in them. As the days pass, we never cease savoring the taste of things, and before long, our hair has turned white. When we are still new students, we have not yet learned the essential principles. We must, time and again, request instruction from those who have already understood. If all we do is delight in food and clothing, how can we say we are monastics? When the Buddha set up the Vinaya, he began by establishing a path of discipline and deportment for new students to follow, so that they could become as pure as new fallen snow, keeping the precepts and avoiding violations, thereby maintaining their initial resolve. Through detailed observation of each rule and chapter, they can reform all that is vulgar and corrupt. But if we have not even studied the Vinaya with a teacher, how can we possibly discern the ultimate truth of the supreme vehicle? How pitiful would it be to pass our life in vain, and then to look back in regret that we never took the teachings to heart, and so cannot awaken to the profound way. As we grow older, gaining precept years, we think we are accomplished despite our lack of abilities. All we know is how to be rude and haughty, and we are unwilling to seek the company of good friends. Unschooled in the Dharma and the Vinaya, we are completely without restraint. Talking loudly and excessively, we are disrespectful monastics of senior, middle, and junior status. We are no different than a gathering of Brahmin priests. We eat noisily from our bowls, then leave right after finishing our meal, before everyone else. Whether moving or still, we are unruly, entirely losing our monastic demeanor. Whether standing or sitting, we startle others, disturbing their mindfulness. If we fail to embody any of the regulations or even the most elementary rules of deportment, how then can we expect to train future generations? There will be no one for new students to emulate. If we become aware of this, or if others point it out for us, our excuse is, "I'm a mountain monk." The fact is that our temperament has always been coarse, because we never learned or practiced any of the Buddha's teachings. Situations usually arise because after we first set our minds on awakening, we become lazy, gluttonous, just going through the motions. Unfamiliar with the Buddha's teachings and practices, we have always been crude and wild, and unknowingly we have become decrepit, and we encounter the slightest difficulty. It is like running into a wall. When new students seek guidance, we have none to offer. Even if we have something to say, it does not reflect what is in the scriptures. If new students slight us, we scold them for their poor manners. As our anger flares, our words affect everyone around us. Then one morning we wake up sick in our beds, bound up by our overwhelming suffering. Day and night, our minds race in anxiety and fear. The road ahead is unclear. We do not know where to go. At this point, we begin to regret our mistakes, but to dig a well when we are thirsty is useless. Old and full of faults, we despise ourselves for never having truly cultivated the Dharma. We now face death, full of terror, having wasted our lives. Just as a sparrow pecks its way through a silk cloth and flies away, our consciousness follows our karma in determining our rebirth. Just as a debtor is dragged off by his biggest creditor, our scattered and confused mind will fall in the direction of its habitual inclination. The murderous ghost of impermanence is relentless, for our life cannot be lengthened, nor can time be made to wait for us. We are therefore never free from the existences of the three realms, including the realms of humans and gods. In this way, we have been reborn for an uncountable number of eons. I lament this situation. I grieve, and pain pierces my heart. How can I remain silent and not send out this warning? I regret that we have been born together at the end of the Dharma image age, ever more removed from the time of the sages, a time when we are unfamiliar with the Dharma, a time when people have grown lax and lazy. I offer my shallow knowledge so that in the future people will understand. If we do not change our ways, it will be exceedingly difficult to turn ourselves around. We, who have become monastics, have set off on the path of transcendence, so our minds and our demeanor should differ from that of ordinary people. We should carry on the Buddha's lineage, make it flourish, and make armies of demons shake with fear. Thus we can repay our four benefactors and rescue beings in the three realms. Otherwise, we will become the dregs of the Sangha. In both word and action, we will have neglected our practice, wasted the donor's offerings, and as years pass, we will not have made an inch of progress, with our lives passing in a stupor. In the future, what will we have to rely on? Our stately and impressive appearance as monastics is the remarkable result of good roots of goodness we have planted in the past. But we squander this reward by sitting with folded hands and bossing others instead of treasuring our time. There will be no merit or accomplishment. If we are not diligent in our work, we will have passed our present lives in vain, failing to create any good karma for the future. We have left our relatives and donned the monastic robes with a determined resolve. But was it not our intent to take the sages as our models? We should reflect on this day and night. How can we procrastinate like this? If we do, we will not have any connection with Dharma, despite our aspiration to become pillars of the Buddha Dharma and to be excellent models for future generations. Our words should accord with the sutras. When conversing, we should examine and use texts written by the sages of ancient times. Our appearance and deportment should be upright and distinguished, and our inner spirit should be lofty and at ease. When we travel far, we should rely on wholesome friends who will again and again help us keep our senses pure. Wherever we reside, we should choose good companions who will, time after time, teach us what we do not know. So it is said, "My parents gave me life, my friends helped me succeed." The company of good friends is like a walk in the mist, which moistens our clothes without getting them wet. When we are intimate with bad people, our wrong ways of seeing and understanding grow. Day and night what we do is wrong, and the dire results, now and in the future, manifest before our eyes. After death we sink and drown, and once we leave the human realm, we do not regain a human body for thousands of eons. Good advice is hard on the ears, but we must engrave it in our hearts. Then we will be able to purify our minds and grow in virtue. We should go unnoticed and conceal our names. Living simply, we gather our energies and put a stop to any clamor. We aspire to practice Chan, which is the gateway that immediately transcends all other more expedient methods. Our mind should be in accord with the esoteric way, and we should investigate the subtle essence, discern the profound, and awaken to the true source. We should keep requesting instructions of those who already understand and seek out the company of good friends. It is difficult to attain the wondrous aspect of the Chan school. Hence, we should definitely take great care and be diligent. By doing this, we can discover the true cause for sudden awakening. By these efforts, we gradually transcend the mundane. Then we can break free of the 25 destinies of the 3 realms and fully understand that all internal and external phenomena are not real, but are the products of our minds. Mere names, nothing more. When our minds are anchored nowhere, free from any emotional attachments, nothing can obstruct us. Let the Dharma flow freely, neither ending nor continuing. When the sounds we hear and the sights we see all become ordinary, then we fully respond to all situations. With this kind of conduct, we will not have worn the precept sash in vain, and we will have returned the kindness of our 4 benefactors and be able to rescue all beings in the 3 realms. If we do not retreat in life after life, we are sure to become Buddhas, coming and going, travelers in the 3 realms, appearing and disappearing as models for others. So long as we are willing to do our efforts, they will not be in vain. If we are cultivators of moderate abilities who may be unable to awaken immediately, we should look into the teachings by studying palm leaf scriptures and considering their meanings. To pass on the teachings by chanting and explaining them, we guide future generations and return Buddha's kindness. Then we will have used our time well. Whether moving or still, we must maintain our practice and conduct ourselves with dignified deportment. Then we will become Dharma vessels within the Sangha. Have we not seen how vines can climb to the height of the tallest pine? The greatest benefit comes from our relying on superior methods. Earnestly practice the pure precepts without deception, deficiency, or transgression. And in life after life, there will be exceptionally wondrous rewards. Do not idly let the days go by, or let time pass in a haze. What a pity to waste time without pursuing progress, while using up the offerings of the faithful in the 10 directions and disappointing the 4 benefactors. As we accumulate offenses, they become more ingrained, and this dust readily obstructs our minds. Every path we take will be a dead end, while people will look down on and ridicule us. There is a saying from ancient times, "If others can be heroes, then so can I." I should not underestimate myself and retreat. If we fail to conduct ourselves like this, then we will have wasted our lives within the Sangha, gaining nothing for ourselves or for others. I humbly express my hope that all of you become strongly determined in your aspirations, and that you will truly broaden the scope of your hearts. In your conduct, take after admirable people, and do not follow the unworthy and mundane. In this life, we must be decisive and must not expect others to do the work for us. Our mind should be still, and we should pay attention not to external distractions. Do not become engaged with the dust of sense objects. The mind and its objects are empty and still, but we have been under their influence for so long that we have not been able to break free and see them. Study this essay thoroughly. Always take its admonitions seriously. Strive to be your own master. Do not be ruled by your emotional attachments. The consequences of our karma drag us along, making it truly difficult for us to escape. Effects follow in exact accordance with their causes, just as a pleasing echo will result only from a harmonious sound, and a straight shadow will be cast only by an upright figure. The inevitability of karma cannot fail to strike terror in our hearts. Therefore, the scripture says, "The karma we have created does not disappear even after hundreds of thousands of eons have passed. We still have to undergo the consequences of our karma when the necessary conditions come together. Therefore, we must understand that 3 realms are a place of punishment, in which we are sentenced, imprisoned, and put to death. Work hard and practice vigorously. Do not let the days pass in vain. We must fully recognize this danger and exhort each other in our cultivation. We must make a vow to be Dharma friends, practicing together life after life, no matter where we are, for hundreds of eons." I now inscribe these verses here. This body of illusion is but a house of dreams, an image in an empty sky, endless and without beginning. Rising here and sinking there, weighed down with weariness, turning on this 3-fold wheel, when will we ever rest? Clinging to this mundane world, skandhas and conditions form. We linger on from birth to death, without a single thing attained. fundamental ignorance causes us to be confused. How pitiful this wasted time! Misfortune strikes at any moment. So we pass this life in vain, and future lives become obscured, wandering from confusion to confusion, all because of the 6 thieves' charm. Through 6 paths we've circled, through 3 realms we've crawled. Quickly find a knowing master. Draw near to people of great virtue. Discern this mind and body. Cast off the thorns and brambles. This world itself a fleeting phantom. How can such things oppress us? Investigate principles aiming at realization, relinquishing all frames of mind, dismissing thoughts and recollections. The 6 faculties in harmony, walking, standing still, at peace. Not a single thought arises. All the myriad dharmas cease.